Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I forgot to show you this the other day, but it's worth queuing up.
Madam Speaker, the United States is facing an inflation and debt crisis not seen in over 40 years. West Virginians have seen the value of their savings erode before their very eyes because of reckless tax and spend policies. We know who's responsible for the current inflation crisis, but what in our country's history has allowed us to get to this point? The answer can actually be traced back to 1971, when President Nixon took the United States off the gold standard. The gold standard means tying the dollar directly to the value of gold. Under the gold standard, any American would be able to trade their dollars for a fixed amount of gold. By linking the dollar to the value of gold, the money supply could only be increased if the supply of gold increases. This connection protects the purchasing power of your dollars. That is why I introduced legislation to return the United States to the gold standards. Had we been on the gold standard or some other fixed standard, we'd not be in the inflation crisis we're in today. I look forward to working with the Republican majority to make sure this issue gets attention. Thank you, and I yield back.
Now, folks, I've told you, we live in the age of lies. The biggest lie is that the Federal Reserve and the monetary system, this debt-based monetary system, is just normal and it's good for everybody. This fiat system was one big lie from the time they met in Jekyll Island to create it. And they know it, you know it, and I know it. There's a reason that I have a gold sponsor that is Glint. It's so that I can not just have physical gold, but I can also have a Glint account with my gold in it that has my MasterCard debit card, where I'm literally in 2022 able to walk into the grocery store and spend my gold when these liars destroy our monetary system with these fiat lies, okay? It's just one more barrier, security barrier that I've created for myself. The link to that's in the top of the description. Click on it, tell them DAI sent you. Check this out. XRP, remember how in the FTX scandal, they said that there was a guy there that had, what was the guy's name? He's the guy that BitBoy said was behind the whole thing. Anyway, this guy had I think they said he had God mode, where he could see everybody's trades or something. Well, look at this. XRP largest monthly candle, God's candle. I've never heard. I love all these charting terms. That's some of my favorite thumbnail stuff. God's candle. The largest monthly candle in the history of XRP was in December 2017. This candle printed 1,155% pump. Will XRP have similar God's candle? Most probably is yes. When this will happen, I do not know. And you wonder why I'm so bullish. And again, I know nothing about charting, but I love watching what some of these people say. And I hope that they're right. I think XRP will explode soon. I am fully positioned. The digital asset investor is fully positioned as well. Now, how many times have I told you, folks? I told you 4 years ago, not just some of Wall Street's coming in, all of Wall Street is coming in. And we have now, in 4 years' time, witnessed every kind of Wall Street in partnership with their regulator buddies, the revolving door guys, like the Gary Genslers of the world. We've seen every kind of shenanigans known to man. We've seen lawsuits. We've seen media manipulation. We've seen their friends at CNBC help them in this effort. We've seen everything you can think of, including good old Gary beating down crypto. Now think about this for a minute. A lot of people don't think about this often. You're in the United States of America. You're an American. You want America to do well. If you're Gary Gensler, all you have to do is walk to the microphone and voice optimism. I stand behind crypto. This is going to be a great industry for the economy of the United States. This is going to be like the gold rush. It's going to be a boom. Is that what Gary Gensler goes up and says? No. He does the opposite. He walks up and every time he speaks, he tries to scare you. well, you know, you got this, you know, the rules are clear. It's very clear, even though nobody in the industry thinks they're clear. He thinks they're clear. He and Joseph Lubin and Sam Bankman-Fried, right? Very clear. He scares you every time he walks to the microphone by design. Who's benefiting? Well, look right here. Goldman Sachs is looking to spend tens of millions of dollars for investments in crypto firms whose valuations have been hit after the FTX bankruptcy. Now, when you see an article like this, go ahead and write it down. That means that they've already cut their deals. The articles are written after the deals are cut, once the value of the assets have been pounded by Gary Gensler and friends, as well as, don't forget, FTX. Who all was behind that? And who was Sam Bankman-Fried meeting with? Who all was behind it? Folks, these are some dirty folks. Dirty. They don't play the game like you. These wholesome concepts like honorability and ethics. They don't think like that. These people think more means to an end, padding their pockets and their friends' pockets. It's not the way that the founders thought. I can promise you that. And Dr. Martin Hisbick from Uphold, he calls it too. There you go. Just as I predicted, Goldman Sachs, and just as the digital asset investor predicted, Goldman Sachs Group plans to invest tens of millions of dollars in crypto firms, Reuters reports, citing an interview with Matthew McDermott. It plans to buy or invest in. See, I remember 3 or 4 years ago when Goldman Sachs was sending out, they were getting people to write articles where Goldman says Bitcoin's going to zero. And they were all buying back then, folks. Now, and here's a real positive spin on all that. What's been bashed more than anything on this planet? What digital asset and what company in crypto has been bashed more than anything in crypto? That'd be Ripple and XRP. So think about that one. Nexo will gradually phase out U.S. operations as a direct result of dead-end attempts to gain regulatory clarity. So now, once again, Gary Gensler is running this Nexo off of shore, okay? They were paying too high of interest rates, which means that his buddies, and I said it here, I said, I'll bet dimes to donuts, Wall Street will be offering crypto interest once Gary has run all the startups off. One difference, the rates won't be as high because they'll keep most of it for themselves. This is part of the plan, folks. Now, and then Cowboy Crypto knocks it out of the park with this graphic. FTX is the tip of the iceberg. And he's got the official cool guy here, Cowboy Crypto, Gary and Sam. Everybody's staring at Gary and Sam Bankman-Fried, but Bill Hinman, Joseph Lubin, and Jay Clayton and Mike Novogratz, and then there's Jamie Dimon and ETHgate. Nobody's looking at that. Now, check this exchange out. Michael Saylor running his mouth.
Eaton here, the lawyer representing Ripple. What are your thoughts about what's going on with Ripple and how he is handling the Ripple case?
Ripple's an unregistered security. It's pretty obvious. There's a company. The company owns a bunch of it. They sell it to the general public, but they never took the company public. There's no disclosures, right? So the SEC's position is you're selling an unregistered security. It's a crypto token, right? Just like Ethereum is an unregistered security. It's controlled by a few people in the Ethereum Foundation and Consensus.
Fair. Then
just like FTT, just like Solana.
Perfect. But here's a follow-up.
They're
on that,
all
Michael.
Unregistered securities.
Here's a follow-up on that. Right. I don't own a single Ripple, just so we know. So full disclaimer, I'm not a Ripple guy. But if both of them are unregistered, why target Ripple and not target Ethereum the way he is targeting Ripple? And by the way, this is coming from a guy that owns Ethereum, not Ripple.
Yeah, I think the best thing for the world would be if the SEC pretty much shut down all of it. It's all unethical, right? I mean, the Bitcoin position would be Bitcoin is an ethical commodity. All of these other altcoins are unregistered securities. They're all just equity tokens issued by a company in order to get around going public, and they're committing securities fraud.
Ethereum included.
Of course. especially Ethereum. You know, Ethereum's got $20 billion of ETH token locked up in the staking contract right now, and there's a couple of people that may or may not give it back to you ever. Now, isn't that the definition of investment contract? If a bank took $20 billion of your assets, froze the window and said, you can't have your money back ever, maybe in the year 2024, we're not sure. We're just going to keep it. We may actually give you interest on it. We may take it all.
All right, and then watch this part.
Take it all.
Actually, I put this part in a clip, and I had a question. Why is Michael Saylor not demanding to know who the 4 Satoshis are? Watch this clip. Watch what he says about this.
If you want a crypto asset to be a commodity, you can't rely upon 4 engineers, a company, a CEO. If a person can make a decision, it's not a commodity anymore.
We looked at...
And what you're watching here, for those of you that haven't seen it, this is a Homeland Security agent speaking here. Her name is Rana Saud, Assistant Special Agent in charge of Homeland Security. Why, and my question is, why is Michael Saylor, now this guy, he's buying Bitcoin for the company MicroStrategy. He has a board of directors. He and that board, their job is to serve their shareholders. Okay? They have to do proper due diligence on behalf of those shareholders. If not, they have all kinds of liability out the wazoo. So my question is, why is Michael Saylor, and here's a link to their board of directors, by the way, if you want to see who all of them are. Why is Michael Saylor and that board of directors of MicroStrategy not marching to Homeland Security publicly and saying, wait a minute, Homeland, you guys know who 4 Satoshis are, and here we are thinking that there's this God character that created Satoshi, and now maybe he's dead or whatever, and there's no central authority. But we need to know, if you know something, why are they not doing that?
Bitcoin was the most prevalent at that point. We had seized quite a bit of it, millions of dollars worth, under the Silk Road investigation. So one of our agents who started looking at another online marketplace through the deep web, what was called Black Market Reloaded, they were sending weapons through packages and ordering them on the dark web. And he was really, really smart, forward-leaning agent. And he goes, I want to go interview Satoshi Nakamoto. And we're like, what? He said, yeah, I want to go interview this guy. And at the time, we're like, hey, it's a figment of somebody's imagination. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. So, we had all this pushback from our headquarters. And we thought, hey, if an agent wants to go talk to him and we have some money, why don't we send him? Let's find out how this works. So as it came to be, the agents flew out to California, and they realized that he wasn't alone in creating this. There were 3 other people, and they sat down and met with them and talked to them to find out how this actually works and what the reason for it was.
Okay, so there you go. And this guy says, I'm starting to think Bitcoin holders are government agencies in disguise, spreading false truth everywhere they go, not willing to do research and provide transparency. Because it's not just Michael Saylor, folks. Why is every Bitcoin maximalist out there that you know of, from Max Kaiser on down, why are they not out demanding to have an interview with this freaking Homeland Security agent? It's because it's one of two. There's only one or two paths here, folks. They either all know who these 4 people are, in which case they are 1,000% liars in everything they've said for the last little bit, or they don't know, and they know that if they go and find out, it blows up the whole crock of BS that they've been spewing about how somehow Bitcoin is this godlike thing that's out of nowhere and it's a commodity. It blows the whole thing out of the water. There is no in between. So I've been saying this for years. The Bitcoin and Ethereum narrative, which I think we blew that one up. I think we set off a bomb with the Ethereum thing, and now you don't even hear anything about that anymore. The whole thing's been a propaganda machine. I 1,000% believe this. And it involves financial media, crypto media, government, and Wall Street, top to bottom. Proof of work doesn't work. And they know it. That's a Ryan Zagone. This illustrates how stupid some of this stuff is. Bitcoin could plunge to 70% to $5,000, Standard Chartered predicts. But then Max Kaiser tweets this out. one Bitcoin may be worth $1 billion, says Fidelity. So which is it? Now, I want to finish with this. John Deaton had commented on this video where there was a lawyer, there was an attorney who had said that he thought this goes all the way to Supreme Court. Well, John Deaton, I'd shown you he commented on it yesterday, but he added a little bit here. Because Stuart Alderati had told Nick Burafedo from Link2 that when this is over, it's over, as in when the judge makes the decision, this thing's over. He said, but George Torres' decision will have a huge impact practically and politically speaking. For example, if the judge agrees with the SEC, with Gary Gensler, regulation my enforcement campaign will gain credibility and momentum to crypto outsiders. He won't look like he's out of line. If Ripple outright wins and the judge criticizes the SEC for pursuing the implausible theory that the token itself from the beginning of time until the end of the world, even sold us in faraway lands, is always a security no matter who sells it, could halt Gary Gensler's campaign. Of course, it's possible that Judge Torres could split the proverbial baby and rule that Ripple at some point offered an unregistered security, but the token itself is not. Nor are secondary market sales independent of Ripple. Either way, the Ripple XRP case is ground zero. Now, this is how I think it ends. I think that the baby gets split. I think they're going to give the SEC some, but at the same time, I'm saying if it comes to that, I still say the SEC settles. And I say that because until I see unredacted all the Hinman documents, I will believe that there's going to be a settlement. But I think Gary is going to push it all the way to the end. He's going to stall it as long as he can. But once he finally realizes that all of the documents, not some, but all of them unredacted, are going to be seen, I think that Gary's handlers, the people that control Gary, are going to call him up and say, nope, go ahead and settle. Go ahead and settle, twerp. And they probably are going to pat him on the head and say, you've done a great job, okay? You fought the good fight, little Gary. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that I believe it settles. But I think that if it does not settle, the judge is going to split the baby. And you'll see, but even if it settles, I think Ripple's going to write a big check. And I think that it'll be done in such a way, whether it's a settlement or a judgment by the judge, I think that both parties are going to come out and declare a win either way. And so there may be some confusion on the front end.